I am so excited about the jersey retirement that's happening on tomorrow. This is something that I didn't dream about, but certainly an amazing, incredible accomplishment. And it means a lot to my family, my friends, my support network, and certainly even to the fans here in Nashville who have supported me, who made this all possible, to all the coaches, athletic directors, trainers, academic support that poured into me that have helped me be successful both on and off the court. I'm just so grateful and honored for this opportunity and looking forward to celebrating this weekend.
Robbie, go ahead.
Hey Shane, sorry I just jumped on here. Sorry if this has been asked. What do you remember most from that Mississippi State game? I think that's what a lot of people are going to be thinking about this weekend.
I remember going 0 for 6 to start the game. It just seemed like it was going to be a bad night. And then all of a sudden in that second half, things turned around in a major way. My teammates continued to have faith in me and encourage me just to keep shooting, keep going. And Coach Stallings looked at me, I think at the 12-minute mark, and said, listen, if you don't start making shots, we're not going to win this game. And so I looked at my teammates in that moment and said, I promise you, I'm going to start making shots. And when I did, I didn't miss. It was incredible. You know, Mississippi State did all they could to stop us, but we had a really good team, a tight-knit team and group. We're still close to this day, and they made a lot of sacrifices to make that kind of a performance possible. Setting screens, getting me the ball in situations where I could be most effective, defending on the other side because Mississippi State was scoring a lot. They were playing well. Jamont Gordon was one of their better players, and going up against me for SEC Player of the Year. But at the end of the day, it was about winning. And it's always been about that and doing it together with that group, with my brothers, hand in hand. And when you start making shots at that kind of a clip, it kind of feels like the basket is an ocean. Like anything that you put up is going in. Ironically, the last shot that I took was pretty deep. It was about 30 plus feet. And to win the game, it felt like I had left it short. But I think some of those prayers that me and my family were throwing up, I think they came into play in that moment. We were able to come out with a victory, literally one of the best games I've ever played, and grateful to have done it in front of this particular fan base. We have the best fans in the entire world, Memorial Magic, and I'm just so grateful and thankful for all of them for making that night as special for me as it was for them as well.
Chris Harris.
Hey, Shane, congrats, man. Good to see you.
You too, man.
Yeah, I was just curious, getting your jersey retired in the rafters, what does that specifically signify to you?
It's family, it's legacy, it's character, the way in which I went about the game and carried myself on this campus. It's hard work. The work that I put in, a lot of people forget that I played center in high school. And so coming to Vanderbilt, having to become a guard in the SEC against other players who had been a guard their entire life was hard. I spent a lot of time in this gym working, grinding, trying to figure things out, trying to become the best player that I could be, but also trying to be the best teammate that I could be. And so that's what I remember most, and that's what that means to me. The fans who, even in my first 2 years when we went to the NIT tournament, they were so supportive and so caring and loving and welcoming to me, and encouraging me even through those moments, encouraging my teammates. And then obviously in my junior and senior year, we go to the tournament, beat a lot of ranked teams in the country, and we're able to do some really special teams, and I became the SEC Player of the Year. It doesn't happen just by me, though. There's so many people who contributed to me, who poured into me, who helped me with a lot of things off the court that made on the court possible. And so when I look up there and see that in the rafters, it really brings me back to every single individual that had anything to do with this success, and I'm grateful and thankful for it.
And if I can follow up along those lines, how would you describe what type of player you evolved into by the time your time ended at Vanderbilt?
It was incredible to see that maturation process. Every year I averaged more points than I did the year before, rebounds, and really became a complete player by the end. And I grew in my leadership and being able to be accountable and hold others accountable on our team. And it was important for me to improve every year. And I think we were able to kind of see that in my matriculation through from freshman to senior year. My senior year, spending the majority of that season as the #1 shooting guard in the country. And it was a lot of work that went into that. And I think that I became one of the better shooters in the country, one of the better guards, one of the better defenders, and gave me an opportunity to be drafted into the NBA. But what I remember most is the preparation, how much time I spent in the gym with Coach Rich and King Rice, just really working on my craft and becoming that better player. And then my teammates who pushed me every single day in practice in order to make that possible. They are the ones that made me one of the better guards in the country.
Chad, did you want to hop in with one?
Shane, when you came to Nashville as a freshman from Louisiana, could you have ever dreamed the type of career that you ended up having?
I could not have written a better story if I tried to. I really, really enjoyed every moment of my experience here in Nashville on this campus, getting a chance to connect with people from all over the world, classmates and peers, teachers, professors, administrators, deans. I mean, I really built some sustainable, amazing relationships here. And to have the on-court success that I did, I knew that I would be successful. I was very confident in myself. I didn't know exactly what that would look like. And, I was telling my wife the other day that, when I came on my visit, Vanderbilt put on a significant show. And one of the things they did was they kind of highlighted some of the things that they thought that I might accomplish or could accomplish while being here. And I sit here today in 2022, having accomplished everything that was on that list. And the last thing being obviously having my jersey retired. So it was a story that I couldn't write, but apparently Coach Stallings and the coaching staff and David Williams and the staff here, they knew what they were getting in me and helped to cultivate me to ensure that all of those things became reality.
Chris Harris?
Shane, you obviously mentioned the Mississippi State game, which is the one that stands out. Can you give some other games that stick out in your mind?
Oh, the one that sticks out the most is when we played University of Tennessee. They were the #1 team in the country after beating Memphis. And I think they only held on to it for about 3 nights because by the time they made it to Nashville, they were no longer #1. That was probably the more complete game that I think I played, really showing a lot of versatility and doing some things inside the paint and fadeaway jump shots and mid-range and assists. And then also, obviously, the game where we beat Kentucky here in Memorial by 41 points. I don't think anybody has ever beat them by that much, even since then. And so, it was those moments that stick out, but even beyond that, it's the moments that I spent with our teammates in the locker room, after games and after we laid it all out and had success, but, really loving on each other, celebrating with each other, and preparing to really be great and to see what all we could accomplish together. Those are the things that stick out the most for me.
Robbie, go ahead.
Yeah, Shane, what are some of your favorite memories from going to college at Vanderbilt, aside from, basketball or off the basketball court, whether it be, hanging out with the team or even aside from basketball entirely?
One of the things I remember is how often I would sit down in towers in the lobby. We had a study room that also had a piano in it. And oftentimes I'd go and sit down and play the piano, and 20, 30, sometimes 50 people would come around and just listen and sing songs. And, it was an amazing time for us to cultivate relationships and get to know one another, but just to be kids and really enjoy all that Vanderbilt presented to us as the opportunity for us to become better, become adults and have opportunities to practice even with that. And so, those are the things that I take with me, attending events on campus and really being a part of the Vanderbilt student body and community. And, I still value those relationships even today. So those are the things that come to mind.
R.I.P. Towers.
Right.
Chris, do you have one more?
Yeah, I got one more. Shane, can you just describe what the atmosphere in Memorial Gym was like in your heyday there? I know, now it's evolved into what it has through COVID and whatever else, situation is with the program. But back then it was a special time. And when teams were coming in there, they knew what they were going to expect, right?
Yeah, I remember my last 2 seasons in my junior and senior year. I think we sold out every game, and it was standing room only. It was loud. It was exciting. I remember, coming to the gym when we played UT when they were #1, and it was snowing outside, much more than it is here today in Nashville. And yet there was a line wrapped around the building of people waiting to get into the gym. I mean, this was the hottest ticket in town and certainly the talk of the town. And we were able to deliver. In those 2 years, we only lost 1 home game. And so, to that end, our fan base was 100% the 6th man on the floor. And obviously our floor presented some challenges for some teams. I'll never forget Bruce Pearl, stomping on the other side of the floor wearing that ugly orange jacket as he was trying to get in touch with his teammates. But I mean, they were on the other side of the floor, so it made it difficult. It's moments like that, really, really mean a lot to me and that I hold as treasured memories from my time here, and our fan base is second to none, and looking forward to the days where that kind of excitement comes in our gym and is here to stay.